It's like a mini blog. Uh-huh.
Okay, we are just live, so just give you a couple of minutes for people to hop on. Right, if you have joined us this evening, welcome and good evening. This is the Happy Coach Yuantai, and today we have a very special guest, Liyana. Okay, right. Welcome, Liyana.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you.
if you join us, welcome. Just type in the comment box. Yes, I'm here, or something just to let us know that you are here. All right. So without further ado, it's a 45 minutes, very short session. So without further ado, I'll just dive straight in. Okay, Liyana, right. So tell us a bit about yourself and what are you doing right now?
What am I doing right now? Depending on who I'm talking to, I tend to shift. But generally, I would say I am someone who market and sell things, and I think depending on which age you meet me, I would say different things. So right now at this stage, I would say I make market and sell software. That's what I've been doing for the last 7 years as I would say, tech startup entrepreneur in the high tech industry. It's been a roller coaster ride. That's some major wins, some setbacks, some, So but all in all, I say it's been a fulfilling journey.
Yeah. All right. So for the past 7 years, you said, how long have you been involved in the startup scene?
If you were ask me how long, I think if I would read back all the way, I think it would be 10 years. Would be 10 years already.
10 years, right?
Yeah, 2020 marks 10 years exactly, because when I first started out, it was around 2010. That was the year that I actually went to work for a tech startup in the Silicon Valley. It was called Quick. It was a real live mobile video streaming service. It's really a great experience because it was the first time that I've been away from Singapore, like literally to another continent, which is the US. I mean, I don't know how many of you travel a lot by the time you're in your early 20s, but I'm one of those who've never been out of Singapore. I would say, especially to another continent, unless you're studying or you're working, right? So I'm one of those people. So 2020 now, and then I look back on the journey of 10 years of a lot of hit and misses, a lot of lessons learned along the way. But it's been really nice because when I first started out in the industry, all I wanted to do was to learn how software are made. If I will walk the audience back to the early days in journey, I was about 16 or 17, right after O levels. I had an opportunity to work with this Chinese family, Aero Communications Group. I was just bored and I wanted to look for some income. And at that time, I didn't know what tech industry is all about. But roughly, I do know tech industry in the form of electronics because my dad used to work as a product engineer at Philips. So my idea with technology was about, semiconductor, it was circuit board. So I didn't know there was another world called software. So at that time, it coincided with the beginning of what you call the mobile era. People start producing smartphones, and then smartphones have operating systems. Those are like software powered hardware. Your phone devices start having sort of a mini computer inside your phones. It was funny because at the time I only had a 3210 Nokia, and you had a pretty grayscale operating system UI. But one of my first tasks was, can you sell an HP iPad smartphone to the men in suits? I was only 16, 17. I didn't know about this world of software.
Was that your first job? Was that your first job?
I would say first formal job. Yes, first formal job. But I did grow up in quite an entrepreneurial family. If entrepreneur is not the right word, enterprising family. I had a bit of exposure to making and selling things, but I have a bit to say about entrepreneurial trait, nature versus nature in a little bit. But or like I said, that was my first job. Other than the fact that, you would count things like my mom asked me to do to help her, like with her side businesses, to consider that as first job, then maybe that's not my first job. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what made you pack up your bags and leave the comfort of home for the Silicon Valley at such a young age?
Why? It wasn't young. I was like, my third year, I would say third going fourth year. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do honest. Back in
Mm-hmm.
NUS.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a great opportunity, and it aligned with my passion at the time.
Mm-hmm.
My passion was very much led by my own curiosity of wanting to know what the software world is all about. I wanted to learn how software are being made. I was just curious. From my family background, we only had an idea of how cakes are made, and then you sell those cakes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my mom, had this curtain business, and then she make those fancy curtains for her clientele, and like basically you make things and then you sell things, right? So I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to know more about software because there weren't many phone makers that had smartphone back then. So I thought this is going to be a whole industry behind it, in the next 10 years, and I
Yeah.
believe it is still so right now, right? We have Android, we have iOS, it's like this, we never think about that in the last 10 years. Yeah, so I was just very much fueled by my curiosity, and I know I wanted, and I was just hungry for that opportunity, and I had to find a way. I don't know how that way would to be materialized, but one day I was at NUS, I was studying new media, majoring in HCI, human computer interaction. And
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that, hey, it's not good enough to just learn theory, but it'll be great to actually have more hands-on, like a practical
Mm-hmm.
application of what it's
Yeah.
like to be building in an environment that is building software that people are going to be using. So that was just my incentive to go and pursue something, an opportunity. So I had to take the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were your parents supportive and say that please go fly to the US and be out of our sight for a while? Were they supportive, or was there some resistance and they say that maybe you should reconsider and stay? Yeah. How
I
what
think
was their
partly
response?
Yeah, I think partly because they knew I was quite a troublemaker growing up, because I was always finding things to do and to make. I was like this restless kid, has a lot of questions, and I was literally the kid who loved going to library every Saturday. I would National Library Board, and I would borrow four
Yeah.
books, and then when they tell me they increased the quota to 8 books, I would actually bring home 8 books, and the assortment of books that I borrowed was literally about. I guess I would pretty much interested in engineering as well, because my dad had given me that early exposure. But I think reading was not enough for me, and I want to get out and do something. So
Mm.
that's why my parents say, okay, I think I've exhausted the knowledge that I can give to you, and like I can't answer some of your questions. You got to go out there and get the answers for yourself. So at that time, I think we already had Wikipedia and Google, but I think that what a better way is to immerse yourself in an
Mm-hmm.
environment and learning to do something,
Mm-hmm.
versus actually just reading about it. So I like applied learning. So I think my parents were pretty supportive, because they never wanted me to feel like I'm not pursuing I'm not pursuing my fullest potential. So I think
Mm-hmm.
my dad was extra supportive. He says that
Yep.
just don't forget to call me. You could just forget to call me every week, update me, he was quite worried because um he was just worried because you're going to America, there's guns and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I managed to assure him. I said that don't worry, I'm in a safe environment. You have my manager's phone number. You have my school's, like if anything, so let me have a whole bunch of numbers, and he felt okay to let me go, because I think partly because my parents have my dad, he has his own regret of not going to Holland when he was given the opportunity to advance his product engineering certification all back in those days,
Mm-hmm.
and there was an opportunity to actually um, you know go overseas and partake in some type of training. So he says like, okay, in those days it was much harder because you're already married, so I'm not married and I'm still young, so why not just go.
Okay. I actually had a slightly different experience because my parents My mom became a full-time homemaker when I was 7 years old. My brother and I. So
Yeah.
my dad has been a marine engineer all his life,
Mm-hmm.
and my parents actually were of this mindset that to succeed in life, all you need is to get a stable job. Yeah,
Mm,
really. So
mm,
they were like they really wanted us to study hard. My brother and I, they want us to study hard to graduate with a good degree and then find a good job and then we are set for life. So this
mm,
was literally their mentality, and they were quite risk adverse. So they won't
uh-huh,
like encourage my brother and I to try business, but
uh-huh.
they preferred us to get a stable job and to yeah, that's their definition of success. Yeah,
Right.
and but I'm very thankful to them because
Mm,
my parents actually inculcated very good values, being
mm,
of thriftiness and living below our means. So
yeah.
which is why even during this period of time, a lot of people are struggling. Actually, my family is doing pretty okay because my parents are
Mm,
financially free. Um,
mm,
but just that the thing that I was missing as compared to you is that yeah, because your parents were quite supportive, right? But mine weren't. They were like, oh, better again when I stepped out of employment 3 years ago,
yeah. Yeah.
and they were just saying, oh, better go and find another job and this and that, and then yeah,
Right.
so I started on doing my own business, and they weren't. My mom especially wasn't quite encouraging, as in
Mm.
I mean she's concerned in her own way, but it's not
Yeah.
she's
I,
not very
yeah.
encouraging. Yeah, but my dad was a bit more supportive. Yeah, my dad
Yeah.
just tried to tap on his contacts and try to get this and that person to get connected. Yeah, but I
Right.
think the point here is that I think in this period of time, I mean we are in a recession. Yeah,
Yeah.
just let
Yeah.
me we are really in a recession,
Uh,
and there are some people who have lost their jobs and they are looking for their
mm,
next
right.
what should they do next. Yeah, so this session is really to hopefully to give you a bit of clarity on where you want to go next. And yeah, so Liyana, maybe you tell us a bit about how was your past 7 years like getting involved in different kinds of
Mm,
stuff. Yeah, what were your ups and
okay.
downs?
Yeah, sure, sure. I definitely, I mean, I came into this talk with Yuntai here because I do want to share my wisdom in the last 7 years and how I got started on my entrepreneurship journey. I mean, it may have seemed that I've been able to capitalize on
Mm-hmm.
somewhat certain opportunities and put me on a favorable path to start as
Yeah.
a, tech entrepreneur. However, what I would like to also share is that in some early days and why despite coming from even an enterprising family, entrepreneurship is not something that you're born into because it's a skill that you would have to learn through trial and error where you can become a proper entrepreneur yourself. So I think one of my parents, the reason why they're very open-minded, I believe, is because they preach a philosophy where you can make mistakes but no
Mm-hmm.
regrets. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail as so long as you learn something from it. So that's wisdom number one. Another thing is that I think being an entrepreneur, what I've learned is that it's not so much about the glam factor that you're
Mm-hmm.
pursuing status symbol, you're pursuing money, you're pursuing things, but it's really a journey about making something out of yourself. And to do so actually requires you to have the mindset that the days where our moms and dads and grandma used to live, where there's a lot of abundant opportunities where you can work nine to
Mm-hmm.
five. It's kind of the norm, and that's the opportunity versus 9 to 5 versus nothing. But now in
Yeah.
today and age, I think the economy has evolved in such a way that 9 to 5 is a choice, but there are other choices as well along that, like this gig economy. I'm not promoting gig economy. I know there are pros and cons with that, but
Mm-hmm.
it is prosperous. Just before COVID-19, it was prosperous times. We
Yeah.
are able to make with our skills, our passion, and really pursue what it is that that helps us express help us be our highest expression of life, right? I always believe that each and every one of us has a certain tune that we were born with. Like all of us, if all of us are a piece of musical, we represent a note. So what's that note within you? What is that tune within you? That's it's so resonating. What is it that draws you to pursue life, to live life as big as you want? So for me, for the example is that I always believe that I have to find that one true purpose, whatever that fulfills my heart. And it's been last 7 years. What I found is that I'm not someone who would be happy to sit down and do nothing about the problems that I see. So I pursue entrepreneurship actually more as a problem solving attempt, at the problems that I see, and not something where, not something that I would sit back and see. If I feel like I have the skill sets, or I have the I'm going to add a great advantage to solve that problem, I would actually take the initiative to solve that problem and maybe find, I'm not going to have all strengths and no weaknesses. I have weaknesses as an individual, but in entrepreneurship, it's also a team of sport, right? Where you build up, the rest, you fill up all your gaps, weaknesses with other team members. That's what founders in a business, right?
Yeah.
So it all, you have to do as a team sport. In fact, actually, it might actually in an ecosystem, an entrepreneurship is actually a collective effort. We have many different parts.
It is.
So it's really that learning, wanting to put yourself as part of an ecosystem that is working towards a higher goal or higher collective goal. To me, that's very exciting. And I just want to know where I can plug my skills, my talent in that part of the ecosystem. In entrepreneurship, there's many ecosystems, right? In the world of high tech, in the world of oil and gas, in the world of retail. So what is it that's so unique about yourself that you could bring, and you could play your strengths for the rest of your life, actually contributing your strengths as part of the ecosystem. So I think the world will be dull. We don't have Chanel or Agnes B or even I don't know, all those other designers in the fashion world, right? We got different innovations in the fashion, and lately I don't know what has come out of fashion as well. But I think we all would want to wake up one day and realize that we're living our highest passion. I think Yuantai, for you, that's interesting. Be coach, so you even make the transition from 9 to 5 to actually have your own, practice. So that's in a way that's entrepreneurship as well. And also, it's not just about being an entrepreneur by yourself, but you can be an entrepreneur as part of a corporate setting as well. As how you pursue new ideas, innovative ideas, and you push for those ideas to be realized and to be brought to market. That's also the essence of what it means to be an entrepreneur.
So I just pause you for a while. Let me just say hello to whoever is online. I try to I'm not sure how I can see who is online. But anyway, if you're online, maybe you can just drop a message or comments. And Xavier has a question for you. Maybe you would like to answer. So Xavier asked, how did you qualify to go to the US? Do you get a scholarship?
I did. No, it's not about how clever you are. I wish I can say that, but it's true. It's not about scholarship. It's part of the attachment program actually. I know it sounds like okay because I have it, because I come from NUS, and NUS has such opportunities, to have that NUS Silicon Valley program. However, today in day and age, I would love to share with you there are many opportunities like that that abounds even with IE Singapore. If you have a interesting startup, startup idea, or even if you're interested to work with one of the tech companies here, you would actually have an opportunity to go to Silicon Valley. So a true story that one of my juniors that I was coaching to enter the tech industry, she had no prior tech industry experience, but now she is working at Facebook. And on her first week of Facebook orientation, she was sent to Silicon Valley Facebook to actually experience what it's like, So don't worry about that missed opportunity. You didn't go to NUS, you didn't get the opportunity, but there are opportunities. There are Google's extending their doors, letting more people take courses, and then hopefully with that course now you can actually set your foot in the tech industry. There are many ways to go about that if you really want to be work in the tech industry and be a tech entrepreneur. The first step is key.
Actually, that's a very good point. Because actually, there are a lot of opportunities available. So what happened was, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was actually involved in this hackathon. It's called Startup Singapore. Yes, I'm sure you heard. I'm sure you heard. Yeah. So that was actually the first time that I took part in a hackathon, and I didn't have to pay anything,
There you
but
go.
it was,
There you
but
go.
it was a really intensive crash course. I think 2 or 3 day crash course in startup, in the ideation, in the
Okay.
presentation. So obviously
Bringing
I'm not
product.
good at that coding or whatever. So I was actually the speaker, the presenter for my team. But I think what I took away out of that 2 or 3 days was
Yeah.
really I met really awesome people. That was the first time I actually went on the Discord. I didn't know
Wow,
what was
so proud
Discord.
of
Yeah,
you.
that was the first time I went on Discord, and
It
it's
took a
this
lot of
very
courage.
awesome platform. Yeah, I should check it out. And I think most
Yes.
importantly, I was actually schooled in the sense of like being in a startup and
Yeah.
generating a business idea and putting it to test. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for opportunities to get involved, right?
Yes.
Just simply go Google or Facebook. You click startup. I think it's all over the world, and not just startup Singapore, startup all over the world. I
Oh,
think there are a lot of hackathons all over. You just need to Google them, hackathon
yeah.
globally, hackathon August, and just sign up for one. Yeah, because
Right.
there are kind of events that if you want to have a taste of what is it like to be
Yeah.
involved in a startup, just go and join.
Xavier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of them
Xavier,
are
I would
free
love to
or
add.
yeah.
Yeah, I also would love to add, Xavier, don't be afraid to take the first step. Like I said, how I actually my tech entrepreneur journey is because I was curious about the world of software. I don't know how to make software, but I was curious. I wanted to know about the software, and I went to uni and I took courses in it. And then what you need to do next is to find communities where you can learn, safe spaces where you can learn to start out in the world of
Mhm.
tech entrepreneurship. So there are many communities in Singapore. SG GovTech, it has a lot of weekly events. Go to meetup.com. There's a lot of just speaking
Yeah,
tech startups and everything. Just and befriend people in the tech community. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
great way to start.
yeah. Because it's just so awesome. I think over that weekend alone, I made at least 20 new friends. Yeah, and these people are
Yeah,
all over the world, and they are really talented people. And some of them are quite immersed in the startup scene. Some of them are just
yeah,
like you and I, like most people having a day job. They just want
right.
to spend the weekend and try
I like that.
dipping their toes.
Yeah,
Yeah, dipping their toes in the startup scene. Yeah, so it's just so awesome, and I'll really
yeah,
encourage you if you are really interested. Just go Google, just go on various
yeah.
platforms, meetup.com, and look for these hackathons. Yeah, they are all over the world and ongoing, ongoing.
You
Yeah.
can emulate Yuantai's spirit of even though he's on the fringes right now, I think pretty much in a few months time you'll already be in it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
over the past, yeah. Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay. No, I
over
was just gonna say you're gonna even have platinum membership as part of the tech community. Yeah.
Yeah, so Liyana, over the past few years of your journey in the
Yes.
entrepreneurship scene, right? What
Right.
what are the
Right.
things that you actually discovered about yourself? What are some of your strengths, and what are some of the areas that you felt you could do better in?
That's a very good question. And where often people want to know about
Mm.
what's on your CV and what you achieve, right? I like this question because it's more about personal growth and something which I think as a society, I think we need to do better of, which is not to focus so much on the hard achievements, but on the growth and the character development of a person. And
Mm-hmm.
I really like this question, and I would love to share with everyone that. Of course, you every now and then in entrepreneurship, you don't always have things in your favor. You're always going to meet with a lot of setbacks, obstacles. But what I learned at the end of this so far in this journey, that just when I thought I would want, every time I want to give up, just the next day I will spring back into full action and things just turn around. So I just realized I don't have this. I didn't realize I have this strength superpower that I don't know came from where, but I could continue another day and I could keep going and keep going. So, which is very true to the mantra of a lot of entrepreneurs. It's like one setback shouldn't take you down. You should live to see another day. Just take the next step to live another day, another day. And before you know it, you're already at the end of it, and you're already a winner, right? You finished the race. So my first 5-6 years of the enterprise software was pretty successful. I think we raised some funding, VC funding. We were even cash flow positive for a while, and then we managed to sell parts of the software IP. We still have some of the major IP. The reason why we kept some on it because we are thinking of a larger play with the second startup that I co-founded called Pollen, which is in the space of future of retail, future of work. And what I realized about myself in this journey is that you are never too late to start in a new domain. Just when you think you're an expert in one domain, like for me, I used to think I'm an expert in enterprise software. When I started out doing something like apps and B2C kind of thing, I realized that, well, it's okay. I thought I'm not good at this. I need to hire someone else. But you being in the journey itself actually qualifies you because better, your product better than anyone else because you are in the journey. And if you are diligent enough, you're hardworking enough, you have enough discipline to know like, okay, I need to learn this, I need to do this. But of course, you can learn everything. But if you're in charge of a specific domain and you own that domain, like I say, I'm chief product, right? I oversee a lot of technology development, product management, and also the product marketing side of things. So I would have to take it into my responsibility to fill out the gaps, what I can do better to lead and manage people in the product, that is producing that product innovation. So far, I thought I would not be able to survive. I thought I would need an MBA, which I even forego an MBA. But I realized I don't need to put 100K in an MBA. MBA is still good. I would encourage you to do MBA because for the connections, if you get into a really good school. But in this case, what the startup journey has taught me is that if you're a self-starter and you know what you want, go for it and trust yourself. Of course, you're going to doubt yourself, but still trust yourself and still keep going. And you will realize that you will uncover a whole side to yourself that you never realize you have that because you think that you can't do it. When you first explore the concept of entrepreneurship, you think, oh, it's not for you. Even I myself today, I'm not comfortable calling myself a serial entrepreneur, but that's just the fact is, like Yuantai was asking me, like, what should I call you? I don't know what to call myself. Even the conference when I speak at conferences, they call you. So I think, you're a serial entrepreneur, but I'm not comfortable calling that because I have this unrealistic expectation of like, oh, I need to hit a Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000, then I can call myself a serial entrepreneur. But why be so hard on yourself? Because entrepreneurship is a process. Like I said, it's also a journey of personal growth. You realize so much about yourself that you never think you would be able to do something, but you can do something because, just by having that mindset of, okay, I today is a bad day, but it's okay. I learned something today, tomorrow I continue again. And these are the things that I'm going to do. And let's see what happens. So you need to have the curiosity of a scientist to be able to experiment your hypothesis rigorously again and again and try different things. Of course, Einstein says, don't try the same thing again and again. That's insanity. That's crazy. So make sure you try different things and see if you get there. You see if you get there. So I think having that positive mindset, attitude, wanting to learn, being curious, being open-minded, it really helps you. And you never realize that you actually can grow as a person. Versus myself, who used to just settle for a, after graduation, I actually worked for an agency. I wasn't happy there because not only at the pay, but the hours. And I like, hey, I have skill. I want to make the new CRM software. And I think I can make more money making the CRM software versus actually punching some, analytics, data science, like earning $2,000. So I was like, no, I think my skills and my talent would be better used in somewhere else. So that was just my. So I think I became more confident as a result. I realized that I own my learning journey. I own my talent and I own my skills and I own my own narrative, my story of who I want to be, where I need to be, and what I want to do. So, I think it's more like if I were to synthesize it, it's like a journey of weightlifting. You go to the gym, right? You think that it's so daunting. You never want to go to the gym. But a lot of people who went to the gym, those bodybuilders, they come out of it feeling, I didn't know I can do this. The whole transformation, not only body, but the mental, the discipline, everything. So entrepreneurship is really the place, is really the battleground if you want to see what you're made of.
So how do you keep going when things seem to be against you and everything else and everything seems to be going wrong at the same time? Because I mean, I have been through the tough times as well. Especially when I first started out, because I didn't have any knowledge, I didn't have relevant networks. So what kept you going when things are going tough and it's like everything is going uphill? What kept you going?
I think that I think I was fortunate in my during my childhood. I had a fondness
Mm-hmm.
for skating. Ice
Mm-hmm.
skating, and in
Yeah.
skating, if you can't skate if you don't fall a few times. You're skating on slippery ice, right? So a lot of
Yeah.
skaters know that if you before you become this graceful, beautiful skater on ice, you need to have a lot of bruises. You need to fall a lot of times because you're learning, right? So you need to give enough time. You need to have enough. You need to give due process to your growth before you
Yeah.
can be this beautiful master, right? You can be a master or an expert in something. You need to dedicate enough time, let's say 10,000 hours or
Mm.
something.
Mm.
So
Yes.
that attitude and respecting the process, I would say in general, whatever we do, whatever we pursue in life, give it enough time. Know what your capabilities are. Have faith that your capabilities are enough. And if, let's say, at the end of the day, you feel like you have met the threshold of what your risk that you're able to take, it's okay to take a
Mm-hmm.
break. It's okay to take a break.
Yeah.
It's okay to retreat, right? And figure out what is your next game plan. Don't go away busting and just die on the battlefield, right? Because entrepreneurship, it is like a battlefield. It's a war. You go to war. You
Mm.
line up your
Yes.
ammunition. You need to make sure that you're prepared. You train for the war. It's like Hunger Games. So you align. So you gotta make sure you're fit. You gotta be able to manage yourself first. I think one of the things that helped me get through the tough times is appreciating I would say, the simple moments, the simple good moments in life, like
Mm-hmm.
family, having dinner with family, appreciating, having gratitude for friends who show up in your
Mm-hmm.
life and checking on you, appreciating basically the small little joys in life. I think that helped me orientate back my mindset to say, okay, my failure at work is not all that I'm about. I can
Yeah.
begin again, but right now I need to retreat. I need to train. I need to build up my stamina again. So, like
Mm-hmm.
a figure skater who has an injury, I will need to rest. I cannot go on skating with a leg injury. It will be terrible. The whole world will watch me, tumble, and like it's an ugly, show. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't want that. So we're doing ourselves a disservice if we continue working and working without realizing the need for rest. And rest is okay. Rest is actually part of the balance of having a productive life. So
Yeah.
I think having mindset and understanding, respecting the process, being compassionate to yourself, right? Other than appreciating the small little joys in life, remembering that you are more than just an entrepreneur. You are a daughter to your parents, you're a sister,
Mm-hmm.
you're also a good friend. You are the same girl who loves to bake and give her neighbor free pancakes. So that's one of the things I do. So it makes me whole as a person. I realize that I can begin again. I can rest. I can do this again. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of people think that once they have failure and that's it, that's the end of life. But maybe in another time when you're in a better position, you try
Yeah.
again. Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's very important. The part you mentioned about being compassionate to self.
passionate.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
I think some people they struggle with the idea that they must be perfect and
Yeah.
they don't they are not allowed to make mistakes. Yeah, I think because that has also got to do with the culture that the Singapore education system. We are
Right.
we are rewarded for getting it right and we are
Yeah.
punished for getting it wrong. So we are risk adverse. Yeah, so that is the thing that about the education system. But of course, I think what you really said was true that we need to love
Compassionate.
ourselves, not need to be able to forgive ourselves, and need to learn
Make
from the
mistakes.
mistakes that we make. Yeah, I think
Make
that's
mistakes
very
and no
important.
regret. It's
That's
okay
very
to make mistakes, no regrets.
no regrets, no regrets. But of course, we do need to learn from that, but we don't have to be perfect. So there are some friends. I mean, recently I just started building my YouTube channel. If you
Yeah.
are if you are online and then you want to find out what's the Happy Coach YouTube channel, you just go to YouTube and you just type Happy Coach Yuantai, and I'll appear there. That's my new channel. I actually have the account for a very long time, but I haven't put anything. Only recently, in the past 2 weeks, I started to put some content. Yeah, you can just take a look at it. But the thing is, those content that I put, right? I did it with the spirit of just do it, just do it. Yeah, because there are friends who ask me, hey, so you started a YouTube channel, how do you go about doing it? And I just say, just do it. And they say that, oh, I've been thinking about doing a YouTube channel or podcast for the past 1 year. Then I ask them, what's stopping you? Because I feel that my skills are not good enough. I don't look good on camera. I don't sound good on the microphone. Then I just tell them, what are you waiting for? Just do it. I mean, Nest Lady, when he started, nobody is watching his videos, and his video quality is like pretty bad.
But how you
But he
gonna
just
learn?
did it.
If we never put out a work, if Yuantai doesn't put a video out there, how is he gonna do? He can make a better video after it, right? Because he's gotta have a canvas that he can learn from, right? A blank canvas, it's still better than no canvas. Work in progress.
Yeah, exactly.
Entrepreneurship as well. Being an entrepreneur means you must embrace your work in progress, expect that at the end of the journey you're gonna grow and you're gonna embrace your beautiful self at the end of it. So write a letter to yourself. You're starting a business. You figure out what is it that you want out of life. What is your take stock of your skills, your talent. How this vehicle, the entrepreneurship journey, can serve your highest good. Help you live out your highest expression of your soul.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to pause a while, just say hello to the people who have taken time off, and if you have a questions for myself or Liyana, please feel free to ask. We have about 8 minutes remaining. Yeah. So in this remaining time, right, Liyana, so I just want to ask you, right? So what do you have? What words or advice do you have to people who are in the midst of starting something new, or they are considering whether they should start something new? So what words or what advice do you have for these people?
Okay. If you need the motivational stuff, and like the soft skills, I'm sure Yentao is the perfect guy for it. He's a coach. But my greatest takeaway, my wisdom that I want to share with everyone who's looking to start or in the middle of starting something, find and build a great network of people who can support you through your journey. It's very important. Like they say, it takes a whole village to raise a child. When you're building a startup, when you're building a business, it's like raising a child, right? Your baby. So in order to see it have every chance of growing and making it in life, you need to build and surround yourself with a group of people who support your journey, support your dream. Try to remove negativity. I think you can do well with constructive criticism. People who not only support you, but they can give you constructive criticism. I think building that network early, even as you start, it's better than later when you're having hard times and then you don't know who to turn to, because sometimes our family is not the best people to give us advice on business. They can give us support, motivational support, or what do you call that, moral support, but it's the tangibles. I would say advice on business, how to navigate. I think you need to build a diverse group of people that you can surround with. Start looking on LinkedIn, background who can support you, even as board of advisors or even as mentors in the industries. It's important to build your social capital as an entrepreneur. Build your support system. I think that would actually make the difference between whether you succeed or not.
I think the network, I think social network, I think also in terms of finding a mentor or someone that can show you the ropes. Yeah.
Correct. So and sometimes they can give you capital.
Correct. Yeah. So what else? What else do you have for people who are in the midst of starting something new or considering starting something new?
Failure is a guarantee. but it's how you overcome.
That's a hard
Failure
truth.
and adversity is a guarantee, but it's how you overcome, how you pick yourself up after that. Like for me, when I first had my first skating fall, it's how you pick up after that, how you go back on ice again. I'm still raring to go back on ice and skate again, so. And each time I skate, I am filled with so much gratitude that I have for all the falls I've had, because I realize now I can skate like I feel like I'm flying on ice. So I hope that with every season your entrepreneurship journey gets better. Don't be daunted by the obstacles and the failure. Even myself now, I probably have one of the biggest, I'll say,
Mm,
challenge as an
mm,
entrepreneur in this current
yeah.
business. A bit down, but you know what? I talked to a few friends and I feel better again. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go again.
Mm-hmm.
So failure is definitely guaranteed, but how you rise above that failure and adversity, and yeah, keep going. I'm supporting you from behind.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that is so true. All right. Andy has a question and he asked, how crazy must you be to be an entrepreneur? How
How
crazy?
crazy. Oh, first I must admit I'm crazy first, right? um, I think maybe another word for crazy is passionate. You must have a lot of passion. Your heart must be like, oh, I really believe in something, that I would go to the depths of the world to find the data that I need to prove that my business model, my hypothesis would work. So, like I said, you need to have the curiosity and the what do you call that? Explorer,
Mhm.
mindset of a scientist who's
Yeah.
always looking to prove a new business model, looking for new opportunities, new materials that they want to invent, right? So I think having that passion, you must have heart. You must bring your heart into it. That's crazy. When you have heart,
Mm.
even if
Mm.
you don't, you forget to eat sometimes, but you feel fulfilled, you feel satisfied. But of course, I'm not asking you to forget to eat. It's you better feel yourself, because you need to be in tip-top condition to go into a battle. But you have to have passion. You have to have your heart. Usually, a lot of entrepreneurs have a lot of heart in their business. And you can see from the way they lead the company, with the way they communicate their vision, the mission of the company. It's just so, some of
Mhm.
them, like Steve Jobs, but it's so visionary, right? Because they're so filled with the passion to see something new that no one has ever had out there, right? You have to have passion. You have to be crazy enough to have
Mm.
that passion, that burning passion to change things. And when you believe you can change things, you will change things.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love the part about passion. I think to elaborate on that, yeah, passion is the one that will really drive you once you really find your mission and your calling, and it really
Yeah.
drives you. Yeah. So about 1 year ago, I decided to fully become a coach. Before
Yeah.
that, I was doing digital marketing, so I was running ad campaigns for people. But
Yeah.
I realized that my passion and then my mission really lies in guiding people to discover a
Right.
better version of themselves, guiding people to discover clarity in their life, whether they want to
Right.
advance in their career, whether they want to have better relationships, or whether they want to start something new. I realized that I take absolute joy and passion in helping people in
Right.
that aspect. Yeah. So that
I'm so
really drives
happy you
me on.
found.
Yeah,
Yes.
that really
I'm
drives
so
me on.
happy you found. Yes. I think from one entrepreneur to another entrepreneur, that is the spark that we want to see. Every entrepreneur has that spark, that passion, the soft spot for something that they want to change. They want to make a dent in the world. So I'm not trying to say it's a rah-rah thing, but I know, believe it, there's also social entrepreneurship. There are people who become entrepreneur to make a dent in the social impact
Mm-hmm.
space. So one of you could be someone who wants to be the next social entrepreneur, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Grameen Bank is a good example. Muhammad Yunus, who founded Grameen Bank in Bangladesh. So he's a great example of social entrepreneurship and philanthropy. So there are many ways. I think entrepreneurship can really be the great vehicle for you to channel your highest soul, highest expression of your soul, like what you want to be. So what skill sets do you have? What talents do you have? If you don't even have talent, what are you passionate about? What problem you're passionate about solving?
Mm.
um, what can you do right now to close the gap between what you want to be and what you want what who you are now, and where you want to be, and who you want to
Mm-hmm.
be, where you want
Mm-hmm.
to go in
Yeah.
future. Can entrepreneurship be that vehicle to take you there, and how? So I guess you can do sort of your own SWOT analysis on yourself. What is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
the market, and where you can be uniquely placed to seize an opportunity and become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, yeah, excellent, excellent. Yeah, so it's really about as we have mentioned earlier on, entrepreneurship is really a journey, and I'll
Mhm.
say actually it's a journey of self discovery, it's a journey of growth, and
Yes.
it's really about discovering your passion and your vision and your mission. Yeah, I realized that the entrepreneurs who stay longest in the game, right?
Yes.
They most of them they are not purely driven by money and fame, but they are really
Mhm.
driven by passion. Yeah, so they stay the
Yes.
longest in the game. Yeah, so because the
Yep.
passion just keeps them
Yeah.
moving on. Yeah, like you,
Right.
for example, like Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates, when he first started, I seriously don't think that he just wants to be the richest person. Yeah, but he's just driven by passion, just passion
Yeah.
about building good software, about building good hardware, putting a computer on everybody's
Yeah.
hands in each
Yeah.
household. I think that was his passion.
Right.
So even
Yeah.
till today, you can see his passion. Even he's already like financially free many times over, but
Yeah.
he's still driven by the passion to make positive impact in other people's lives. Yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah. So it's
And
amazing, man.
it is, and also I think for those of you who started to feel a bit maybe alienated because we talk a bit about tech industry because by virtue I'm being in the tech industry, but I may not remain a tech entrepreneur all the time. Like I mean, I'm looking at diversifying and seeing opportunities in other industries that may
Mm-hmm.
be. Experiencing growth in the next 10 20 years. For example, I think there's a huge opportunity for us to think about how we're eating our packaged foods. If you're interested in the climate change and food supply, issue, right? There are a lot of opportunities for us to think about how we can reinvent the food ecosystem, the food supply chain, and all that. So there's plenty of opportunities even in that, and also maybe biofuel. Oil and gas is going down. People are looking for more, renewable energy sources like solar energy. There's a lot of, opportunities to become the vendors or providers of the next gen. I would say some of these things, whether it's food,
Yeah,
energy, something else. Yeah.
yeah. So I think we have actually exceeded our time. So just one last thing. So Liana, what's the next 2 or 3 years going to look like for you?
For me,
Yeah, for
well,
you.
well, well. I mean, I would love to have a set deadline where I believe I could exit my technology venture and then
Mm-hmm.
use that to become an investor. Empowering the next generation of entrepreneurs. I
Be a
would definitely
VC,
no, not necessarily. I think I'll be an angel
angel investor.
investor.
Angel
Yes, angel
investor.
investor.
Right.
I think why angel investment is because I want to support the early stage startups,
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs who are just starting out because that is the crucial time where you make or break. And I realize I've been indebted to a lot of angel investors as part of my journey, and I really appreciate. And I would love to pay it forward by becoming an angel investor myself, supporting, and betting on this startups we just started. Because it would take a long time before you reach a critical point where you're already proven your business model, and you just want to scale, and that's where VC funding come. But there's a period of time before that happens. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs are in need for a long drought of maybe self funding, bootstrap, so, and then that's where
Yeah.
you have to rely on angel funding to keep going, especially when you have an ambitious idea where you need to really
Mm.
build your product and hire a team of engineers. So, I think I don't want to limit people to think that, oh, I need this before I can start up. But I'm happy to support people who have an interesting problem that they're looking to solve, and they believe that they can execute it, and they need funding. So I think
Great,
the next
great,
2 3 years, start off another business, maybe bakery again. I don't know. I love to eat, so
great, great.
and
I think I can
yeah,
connect you with some angel investors that I know as well. I think we'll take it privately. Just send some links and
sure,
just make some connections. So I think it's awesome. It's
yeah,
awesome. And really
yeah,
thank you for your sharing, your open sharing.
yeah. I'm so happy to see all of you.
Yeah. So what's going to happen next is that following from this, we might organize some workshops entrepreneurship and fundraising and how to present your idea. So just stay
That's
tuned.
right.
Just stay tuned. Yeah, we will be keeping you guys updated.
Yes.
But for today, thank you for taking time off to join us. Hopefully you have learned something
Yes.
from this short sharing session. And thank you,
Yeah.
Liyana, and thank you guys. So just wish you
Thank you
guys
all
a
of you
good,
for showing up.
yeah, great evening ahead. And just drop a comment if you really learned something from it and encourage us. Thank you very much. Yeah, if not,
Yes.
there's a happy coach and Liyana saying goodbye to you guys and have a great week ahead. Thank you.
Yes. Take care, everyone.